These bright, colorful plastic rectangles look like USB drives or maybe a new tech accessory. They smell like strawberry and watermelon, and they fit easily in the palm of a hand. Look a little closer at the market, and you'll find them shaped like cute cartoon penguins, popular video game characters, and everyday school supplies. This design choice easily bypasses the natural suspicion of parents and teachers, presenting highly engineered addiction delivery systems as harmless collectibles. Over a 7-year period, the rate of vaping among youth aged 13 to 15 in Thailand spiked 5.3 times. For young women, the curve climbs even steeper, seeing a 7.9-time increase. You can see the math playing out on crowded city crosswalks. These devices have integrated into student life, becoming a completely normalized daily habit. A demographic surge like that requires highly targeted corporate marketing, built entirely on the popular myth that inhaling from these devices is perfectly safe. People often call that exhaled white cloud water vapor. In reality, it is a dense chemical aerosol. Inside the casing, a coil superheats the liquid. Degrading metal dissolves heavy metals like nickel, lead, and cadmium into the airflow. Zooming in, microscopic PM2.5 particles carry toxic chemicals, including formaldehyde, a primary compound in embalming fluid. Because these particles are small enough to bypass our body's natural biological filters, they trigger severe, acute lung trauma. Medical professionals are increasingly treating users for conditions like EVOLI, a severe lung inflammation, and spontaneous pneumothorax, where the lung collapses completely. Users are inhaling a carefully engineered cocktail of carcinogens. The hardware has a sleek, modern update, but the strategy relies on the exact same playbook used by traditional tobacco executives for decades. Once that aerosol hits the lungs, the nicotine absorbs directly into the bloodstream and shoots straight to the brain. Nicotine acts as a neurotoxin. In anyone under the age of 25, it specifically attacks the prefrontal cortex, the exact region responsible for active learning, critical thinking, and emotional control. This diagram illustrates a neurological process called priming. The early, concentrated exposure to nicotine physically alters the teenage brain, growing new, hyper-receptive neural pathways that make the user highly susceptible to harder illicit drugs later in life. Maintaining that engineered chemical dependency requires a constant stream of purchases. Over a lifetime, the financial drain is massive, quietly pulling personal wealth away from the user to sustain the habit. The true cost of a vape extends far beyond a persistent cough. It is the permanent hijacking of a developing brain's potential and a direct tax on a teenager's future financial freedom. The damage scales up rapidly. Globally, 200,000 hectares of forest are leveled every single year to clear space for the massive agricultural footprint needed to farm tobacco. At the other end of the supply chain, millions of disposable vapes are tossed into the trash. These contain unrecyclable lithium batteries and complex e-waste that slowly leach their own heavy metals straight into the soil. If that chemical waste reaches aquatic ecosystems, the concentration is highly lethal. A single traditional cigarette butt soaked in 1 liter of water releases enough toxins to kill half the fish swimming in it. Every puff is part of a massive ecological trade-off, exchanging the long-term health of our soil and water for a fleeting chemical high. The industry has designed a closed loop. The devices are built to ensnare young users early, creating a lifelong habit that drains physical health, personal finances, and the surrounding environment. But the entire mechanism depends on voluntary participation. And the moment that participation stops, the human body initiates a rapid, highly effective regenerative process. This timeline tracks what happens when you quit. Within just 20 minutes, an elevated heart rate slows and blood pressure drops. Wait 2 to 4 weeks, and blood circulation improves, while overall lung function visibly clears up. Fast forward 10 to 15 years, and the initially high risks of lung cancer and heart disease plummet, eventually dropping back down to match baseline levels of someone who has never smoked. E-cigarettes are predatory consumer products, meticulously engineered to create a chemical dependency. Recognizing the danger behind the colorful plastic casings and sweet, fruity smells is the required first step. From there, it is entirely possible to step out of the trap and reclaim a healthy, self-directed future.